it's the vlog for session 24 of Resurgence, Dragon Age Season 2. And
brought to you by Pain's Practical.
Sponsored by
Thank you.
Thank
you.
I was like, no one's gonna do it. All right.
I was waiting for Kevin to do it. Kevin always does it.
Your line the entire time, dude.
I didn't
We
know
don't
I
have
was
Evan.
hired. I didn't know I was hired.
I should just stick. I should just stick Evan in there.
Yeah.
Because-
oh my gosh, you should. Oh my
just
gosh,
be,
you
just brought to you by Pain's Practical Front. Anyway.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt to shop at Pain's.
So, like we were saying before we recorded, I was mentioning that I was very excited for the other players to start seeing everybody's side stories. I think that's kind of cool that you all were discovering, like in the beginning of the session, it was cool that you guys were discovering little things that happened to each other on your own. So hopefully that whets your appetite and entices you to try to definitely watch each other's sessions.
I mean, I liked that the weirded out reactions of Andrea and Cedric were really authentic when we came with like an army of Sylvans.
Yes, totally.
Oh, this is LaQuisha, and they're like,
Yeah.
what?
The name, I was like, nice to meet you, LaQuisha.
The Plim drop seemed interesting. I was entertained watching everybody's reaction to Plim. So.
That was fun.
Yeah, I like how when he mentioned that he found out he was a dad, I think it was Sam was like
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the bigger reveals throughout the entire campaign thus far are kind of fun to just go back and watch, because it's really nice to see everyone freak out.
Sam specifically.
Sam
has very good
really
reactions.
It's Sam and Kimberly that I always like look down.
Yeah.
I was freaking out.
I call it the Kimberly when you do the whole jaw drop.
Yes.
Like
Absolutely.
An army of trees.
And I was so happy to learn that Violetta was back.
And of all people,
so wonderful.
Of all people, Violetta ended up with Cedric and Andrea. Of all people,
that kind of made sense.
Yeah. Well, Kevin and I were so excited for that to be the surprise. Like.
Yeah.
Hey guys, look who's with us.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was awesome. I liked that.
That's Kevin's excited face.
Yeah. Do you trust me? Well, there's a hole in the sky, so yeah, I kind of trust you.
Right.
When I got the arrow, though, like I was worried that I wasn't gonna get to do that because last I knew that Violetta had left our party. So and then Hark, I think you said that we couldn't be like illuvian hopping next session. So I didn't actually think I'd get to do that. So it was a nice surprise for that reason.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm very glad about that.
I'm curious because it seemed like quite a switch around for Cedric and Andrea in particular. Like, how did Violetta earn you guys' trust in the end?
There's a big hole in the sky, and she was like, hey, I don't want that there. And I'm like, well, I don't want that there. So I guess you can go.
And she also is the reason we're not still trapped in the Fade. Like she pulled us through. It was Violetta who was being protected by Razakel.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He was doing a seance type thingy, and
Razakel and Violetta definitely seem to be very close.
Yeah, like maybe they'll be together someday.
Aww.
They seem very close. So
I could ship that.
Rosiletta?
Rosiletta, I like that. Rosiletta. I like that better than Viokale. Viokale sounds like
that sounds like a really weird new organic meal.
Yeah, that sounds like something you'd eat in a salad.
Yeah.
Viokale.
Okay, Rosiletta has to happen now. It has a name.
Yeah.
Yes, or if you wanted to talk lettuce, Rosilettuce, but.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Rosilettuce and Viokale in my salad. Anyway.
Yes.
So like you didn't have, am I right in saying, Hawk, that you didn't really have any like plans for this session? Like you were literally just gonna let us like take it wherever we took it.
The only plan I had was reuniting you guys and then telling you what the final battle layout was, so you can figure out how you wanted to handle it. That was the only thing I planned today, and everything else was whoever you wanted to roleplay with.
Very
and
nice.
it still took us 6 hours?
Yeah, we had a lot of pent up roleplay, I feel like, and because it was an ultimate session as well, so there was a lot of stuff.
Sure.
There's so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'll have one more chance. You'll have one more chance to roleplay with each other before you go off into the big fight. So figure out who you're gonna want to talk to, both PCs and NPCs at the Spire.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you guys kept you guys kept asking me when I was gonna bring up the tranquility notes. There you go.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. And I liked that you went to Hugh. I
really liked that also.
Was anyone surprised by Hugh's response, feelings towards it? Were you surprised? No?
No, not really.
I mean, I wasn't expecting that response, but I wasn't like, oh my gosh, like what kind of response is that?
Yeah, you weren't like...
Yeah, it was kind of like, okay, it makes sense that you, like, once he said everything, I was like, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
It was really difficult.
Oh, sorry, you go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Kim.
One of the things that I think is nice about Hugh is he's so logical that no matter what he says, it's like, okay, I can see why you do that, because he always he's always got that logic at his backing. So
right.
I'm like, Connor.
It was difficult. Like
what?
Everybody in the group, like Theo had the least amount of tie to the tranquility cure, so it was really difficult for me, and I didn't want to do anything with it until I knew exactly how Theo would react. And it's good that Hugh didn't die, because otherwise I have no idea what I'd have decided. But yeah. So for me, I guess I just eventually decided that Theo wouldn't make that decision. He'd put it in the hands of someone who actually knows on a personal level what that means to be tranquil and to be cured of it as well, which is a unique position. Like, not a lot of people know what it's like to both be tranquil and to not be tranquil. So
you could have talked him. You could have talked him into. I think you were suggesting it, but you could have talked him into fully going through the cure. He had some reservations about it, but just letting you know that that was a possibility if you really pushed it.
I think Theo just wanted Hugh to be happy, and Hugh kept saying, I'm happy where I am now, and that
he
was
is.
important.
I think Hugh found a very happy medium. Like you can see that there are parts of him that are back to the way they were. Like, he's smiling now. He's actually finds things funny, and he sees beauty in things. He sees beauty in things. At the same time, it's still muted slightly in a way that I think it's comfortable for him, that he doesn't feel like he's reverting back to the monster that he was before. So I guess he feels more in control of himself in this state. And I guess you could argue whether or not that means that's sort of a cop-out for him, so that he doesn't have to fully deal with the issues that he had prior to becoming tranquil. You could argue that too, that he still hasn't fully dealt with it like a normal human being.
Yep.
But Hugh's not a normal human being at the moment, so...
No,
really
but I thought it was really sweet about what he said about love as well. Like, he was asking about it and stuff. I thought that was a really nice touch.
I think Hugh definitely is a man who's very capable of love. I wrote this in a comment way before, because somebody asked. Like, when I designed Hugh, I designed him to be pansexual. So he's very much has the potential. Now that he no longer is tranquil, I think that potential could definitely grow into something else. So.
Yay.
Does he want pluses?
Who doesn't? I mean, really.
Who doesn't want pluses?
That's true.
Yes. Nobody. I actually went into this campaign wondering if somebody would try to romance Hugh. I was ready for him to be romanced by any any of the 5 PCs, really. I was ready. It just depended on whether or not it took. But I feel like he still had extremely meaningful like relationship and ships and bonds with you guys, right, regardless of whether it was romantic or platonic.
Oh yeah.
So
yes.
Speaking of relationships, Cedric and Andrea finally.
Yes. So one thing that I think you guys will be entertained by in Cedric and Andrea's side quest is at the very end. Kimberly and Kevin might appreciate this. So there's this part where you can kind of see that they're about to talk to each other about their feelings, but then on 3 different occasions they keep getting interrupted.
Oh, no.
And I just found that hilarious. So when you watch the video, like every single time they start to, I play like the background music, and it's like getting very intimate. And then all of a sudden they get interrupted, and there's a big like record rip.
Record scratch.
Record scratch.
Awesome.
So
beautiful.
So when
I'll
I did
it
happened 3 times. I was like, oh, that's the most hilarious thing, because it's always interrupted by a different person. Because I think first it was the Black King, then it was Tessa, and then it was someone. But anyway, you'll see it. It's hilarious. My favorite part of the entire session was the last 5 minutes of the session.
Awesome. I talk a big game about pluses and all that, but I wasn't actually expecting anything with like Theo and Halaser. That was like you saw my reaction when Halaser was just like, "Take me." I was like, "Oh my god!" Like I was so surprised. Like I wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah,
it's fitting. I mean,
because Theo wouldn't want to kind of. It would feel like he was using her to kind of like. To put forward that kind of like agenda. Like I don't, I have to give my love to my daughter. So like he was like, well, Halaser deserves somebody that can be with her completely and love her completely.
Love it.
And so
loving Halaser doesn't mean that you love your daughter any less.
Sure.
It doesn't mean you love your daughter any less or devoted to your daughter any less, just to be fair.
He's afraid it does. He's he kind of tried to get across in session. He's worried that if he has kind of too many things going on, that he's not going to devote the time that he needs to his daughter. He'll get over that, I'm sure, in time. But for now, he just wants to feel okay as a father. He wants to feel like he's doing a good job in that area, and then he'll eventually learn he can have both.
One of my favorite quotes from the movie The Sound of Music was, if you remember, when Maria is talking to I forgot the head mother, whatever her name was, because she was falling in love with Captain Von Trapp, and she was but she's a nun, and so she was saying, I don't know if I should go after this, and I think the head mother says, Maria, just because you love this man doesn't mean you love God any less. And that's what was I found that really profound. So
sure. I think in the end, I mean, whatever happens between Theo and Halaser, I think that's fine. She came to him to just get that last bit off her chest, that I need to take care of your family. If you die, I'm really sorry about this, the one regret I had, and hey, part of me is always going to love part of you and whatever. So
I loved that. Like, I loved when Halaser said that was so sweet. Like, a part of me will always love a part of you. That's up there with like one of my favorite quotes.
Yes.
I love
Aw, thanks. But yeah, I mean, that could have ended with the two of them, just giving each other a nod and walking out for the rest of the night in different directions. So
I thought it would. Like, to be honest,
actually, so did I.
I thought that was what would happen. Like, of course, Theo wanted to, but he wouldn't have. Like, he feels like Halaser deserves somebody that can be with her forever. So,
aw, that's sweet. That's very sweet.
My biggest unexpected scene in the session today was Cedric approaching Captain Maelstrom. I did not see that
I
at all.
liked that.
I was very surprised, and going into it, I wasn't sure why Cedric would want to talk to Captain Maelstrom of all of the people there, but when he started, it made sense. It made total sense. He was well, granted, he wasn't necessarily talking to her primarily to talk to her, but it was primarily to get in her bedroom. But not in that way. So...
Memories of Delwyn.
Memories of Delwyn. Yes.
Whoa, what now?
I think I wasn't sure if I would get the opportunity to do that. When I learned that Cedric was Liam, I think I said this before in a previous vlog. I went back and like watched all of season 1 with Liam moments. And I like at that time I was like, oh well, it would be cool, but I don't know if he would actually go back onto the ship. And when we first had that chance to go onto the ship after the vote or whatever, he was like, no, I don't think I could ride on this ship. And we had the Illuvions to go faster anyway.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, well, I mean, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But the fact that it did happen, I was like, well, I can't like not play it up more so than like him just being afraid to go on the ship. He would be that kind of character that would like want to face it head on. Yeah. Since he was forced into that situation.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't want to take up too much time with it. I just kind of wanted it to be like kind of like oh hey, if you watch season 1 you'll kind of get why he's doing this, and if you get it then you'll appreciate that scene even more. But actually right before I did that, I pulled up another tab. I was like, it was in Captain Maelstrom's room, right?
You have to double check.
And I still have the video up where like Liam's standing and like you can see Connor falling. And I was like, okay, yeah, it was right there. All right.
I have to say, as a viewer, speaking as a GM, as a viewer, it was very cool to see you guys on that ship.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Yeah. I said that like the second we got on there, I was like fangirling over it because it took me back to when I was watching Dragon Age season 1 and looking at that ship and thinking like, okay, if I had a character, like what would they be doing on this ship? Who would they be talking to? And even if it was just for like a small moment, it was so much fun to be on that ship. It's like a legacy. But I messaged Kevin actually saying that it was really nice that Cedric got that closure. That he actually got to see the place that he felt. I felt like it had a nice circularity for the end of the campaign.
And then there was the front of the ship scene, which is like it was kind of like a more positive memory to have on that ship than when he first went on.
Right.
Yeah. How Maximilian and Jody of you. Yes.
I'm just gonna say one of the biggest things was the element thing, like how we have to use one of our elements to seal the void.
Tough one.
Yep.
None of them are good.
They're all terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly how the season 1 characters felt. None of them for them were good completely.
Right.
And what was really cool was when Lucky Jack 20, during his warm-up, I think, admitted that Lealden was not completely on board with the decision that they made, that part of them felt like they made the wrong decision.
Yep.
I always thought for him it made the most sense to feel that way because they could have saved his parents.
Yeah, I agree. Like when I was watching it as a viewer, that was what I thought Lealden would pick for that reason.
So I don't think that this is a decision that's going to be as personal.
No.
But it's a pretty big decision because it's not only going to affect... I mean, it's a lasting impression on Thetis, and there's going to be a big giant barrier now in the world. Like, where the rift is now, there's going to be a barrier of ice, fire, lightning, and that is going to essentially be the patch on the veil.
Right.
Which definitely, allows for some interesting storytelling going forward, but for you guys, it sucks.
Yep. Oh god.
I mean,
we'll leave it open. No one will know in a generation. Whatever.
You could just leave it open and let the fade complete. I mean, that is the sixth option. The sixth option is to just let the fade just consume Thetis and then just see what happens. And I'm prepared. I am prepared going into season 3, exploring what the world would be like with the fade back with the real world the way it originally was. I'm not sure how many years forward. We might just flash forward only a few years. We might flash forward 100 or 200 years once we reach equilibrium and see what that Thetis is like. That's an option. To see what a fade melded with the real world again would look like. That is an option. So
that sounds horrible.
You don't have to do it.
Hire cogs to fix it. It'll be fine.
I don't know if cogs fixes problems so much as build things that potentially cause more problems.
Yeah, this would be his penance.
The one thing about Halisairs is like it reduces technology. Or something. I was like, ooh,
yeah.
I mean, that's not really bad.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, let's just do that. Yeah, hey, just bring in an extra torch next time you come in, and then you're like, oh, and all other energy, and I was like,
yeah, I was like, oh damn.
And I'm like, ooh, there's a lot of people who would die to death if they didn't have a fire in their house.
Yeah, anything with energy and
I mean, we can
magic though. Magic, I wouldn't mind so much, but.
Yeah.
But
you're losing technology and magic. I mean, I'm not saying we pick Halisairs. I'm just saying, like,
no. Let's talk.
The magic frightens me because
who knows what that
who knows what that would do to a world that's made out of the fade. Like our planet's made out of the fade. So
what if we just throw all of them in there?
We could, but then what would we have left?
You could throw them all there. What would you have left?
It would only take pieces. Well, my thinking is that it would only take pieces.
So everything would be diminished a little, but nothing would be completely diminished.
Yeah, like where it would take like half, or I don't know, however much percentage of one, it would.
You can try that and see if it works.
I don't know. That's kind of risky.
You're if you want to try it. I would like to think that Violetta didn't suggest that for a reason.
Okay.
You're certainly welcome to try it.
Cedric always comes up with bad ideas anyway.
Not all the time, sir.
He wanted to kick down the Archon's door and just kill everyone.
And if Hallie was there for that session, she would have totally backed you on that.
But I mean,
missed opportunity.
I have, but just so you know, Kevin, I have, of course, thought about that idea. I'm assuming somebody in the group might have brought that up. So my only response is, I know what will happen when you try that. But I'm not going to tell you what will happen when you try that.
Make sure you ask Violetta. Violetta always knows.
Not always.
I'm still really curious what would happen with Kenneth.
Right.
Let the chips fall where they may.
So sure, it'd be nice if we had some time magic.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not sure exactly.
I don't want to deal with that.
Putting our bracer into, because it's the bracer, because that's the piece of the beginning. But where are we putting it? Like, I didn't understand that.
Your bracer?
Yeah. Like
well, the bracer you keep.
Oh, okay.
You keep it for as long as you want it. No, because what you're going to use is you're going to use your bracer as your focus.
Okay.
Just like the mystery person used the orb as a focus to create the veil.
Right.
But that does not render your bracer powerless afterwards, because the orb itself wasn't powerless after it was used. It just means that if you wanted to undo the patch, your bracer would have to be the one to undo it, because that is what was used to undo the veil. That's why the world is being swallowed up, because the orb itself was used to undo the sealing. So your bracer would now then be the new orb of destruction. Well, not the orb of destruction, but it would be the new magic item that would open the fade back into the real world.
I think I know which one I would pick. I don't know if you want me to say now or wait till next session.
it's up to you guys if you want to discuss it now during the vlog. It's up to you.
I mean, yeah, I don't.
Go ahead.
My pick would be air. So we have storms, but that felt like the least of the evils to me.
It's storms and like less air,
lower
air quality density.
Yeah. I felt like that was the best. Like out of all of them.
And out of all of
like really poor soil quality or bad water quality, like those would kill people so fast.
It's like, well, I mean, unless if it sucks all the air out, which would suck.
I have
all of the air.
So I have a better answer for you about what would happen if you tried to put all 5 to use all 5 to seal. What would happen is the result is not that it would cause a lessened amount of, changes to each of the elements. The result is different regions of Thetis. Pretend the radius is turned into a pie. Different regions of Thetis would feel different effects. So one would be affected with like weakened fire, and one would be affected with weaker lightning. So that would be with weaker air. So that would probably be what would happen, is that the world of Thetis would be divided up into 5 different sections, which again is interesting narrative going forward, but
that is cool. It sounds like a bad idea, but it is cool.
Right.
I mean, to be completely fair, with the air one, Cedric is like the one who is least attached to his bracer.
I
would say anyway.
The bracer though. It's just.
But I mean, like if you're for someone who loses power with the bracer, it's kind of like Cedric's like, I just use it to zap around. Really.
Well, if you were to use the bracer like air, for example, then your bracer would be the main source of that element. So, for example, if you were to use water, that means the quality of water would lessen, but the water bracer suddenly becomes very valuable now, because your bracer could, could create pure water. Not enough to fix all of Thetis, but that person might go from town to town, do a cycle. All right, I'll clean the water here, I'll clean the water there. It'll get bad again, but at least you'll have clean water for the time being, and just keep going around the world. Like,
I'd be so exhausted.
Right.
I was like, all right, now I have to go over here. So, same thing with fire and all the other elements, is that would be the source of the good air, or the source of good earth.
Oh my goodness.
I still really want to know what Kenna's would do.
The Quenna's is a big question mark, and I'm not telling you what it is.
I don't know. I don't like unknowns.
That
could be really good though.
It might be wonderful.
Terrible.
Yeah, it could be really terrible. It could be really terrible.
Going based off of all the other ones, it could be really bad.
What's with all these black holes opening up around the world all of a sudden? What's with all these
Kenna has all the power.
All of a sudden, string theory is no longer a thing, and all the particles break apart.
Everyone all of a sudden starts to have glowing wings all around Thetis. They all have glowing wings.
Don't do it. It's a vanity.
That part's not so terrible.
Oh my god.
Kenna becomes the Inquisitor, and I can close rifts. Like the little mini ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what are you going to do with the orb if you can't destroy it?
I guess put it in the vault.
Put it in the vault? Okay.
If I can't void it.
If we can't void it, yeah. It might be the smartest thing.
Sure.
I like that I gave Thea the poison. It's kind of a
that was nice. I like that.
That was cool. I'm glad that that's hopefully going to be put to good use. So, just before you chop off his head, apparently.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't say it. They did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And right before I do it, I'm gonna say bye-bye.
So much happened.
Yeah.
The mural thing, that was really
that was
cool.
so
That was really
That
cool.
was super cool. It was super cool.
It's like a live. I could
Feed.
use that. I could use
Yeah,
that.
I'm
use that.
sure there won't be a need for like live updates, right?
Cedric will like go up to the mural and try to do like this to like zoom in. So
Enhance.
What is this mage doing?
Enhance. Yeah, like what does this mean? Now the only reason why he was able to do that is because he lived a good amount of time in Navarra. So he can't just decide, hey, I'm just gonna paint this town and
Connor, I've been watching you all day. You haven't been working.
Oh, he has.
Stairs.
That would be kind of interesting if like Hugh gave you both like if Hugh like painted a portrait of Cedric and Cedric gave you a portrait of basically Connor's like bedroom, so every once in a while you could like talk to him through the painting, just like in Harry Potter with the talking pictures.
That might make things so awkward sometimes.
Or so wonderful.
Super awkward.
No,
Connor would like throw a blanket over the painting or something. It's like I'm not listening to you.
I hope you don't like sleep.
That's right. Cedric starts singing during it when he's trying to sleep. It's like,
And I'm sending birds into your bedroom.
Cedric, come back to bed.
I'm ever vigilant.
Ever vigilant.
Man, I like that you went by your screen.
Ever vigilant.
Anything else?
There was a lot of love in this session.
There was a lot of pluses to be given out.
I really liked Cedric and Kenna's interaction. Like,
oh, what he said there was so nice.
That was really
I
good.
didn't know what to say.
Cute. I liked it.
Yeah, I just, I don't know. It's just like kind of one of those things that like I wanted to talk to Kenna and I knew Theo was gonna come talk to me about like that. So I was like, all right, well, I want to
start the Cedric train.
Yeah.
That was the Cedric train. Oh, Cedric, I need to talk to you next.
Oh my god, that was funny.
Yeah, totally.
3 people in a row just dragged him away. It's like,
bye.
No, you don't, boy. Oh,
man. We had lots of good conversations there. I liked talking to Hannah, I liked talking to Hallie. I obviously liked talking to Drake. Yeah, we had a lot of good ones today.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I'm glad Hugh got a nice conversation with Theoben.
Yeah, me
Hugh
too.
got a really nice conversation with Theoben. That's very cool.
Very important.
Cedric was being very big brother to Hugh.
Yeah.
Very, very big brother.
Awesome.
What I find it interesting is that when Cedric, so the way he talks to Connor is very different from the way he talks to Cedric to Hugh. Like,
yeah.
When he's arguing with Connor, it's very different from him arguing with Hugh, like telling to Hugh, you should go to bed. So I find that really interesting. Why is that? I'm just curious.
It's really just their like experiences together. Like he sees them both as charges, but in a sense, Connor has a lot more to prove. Hugh's like in Cedric's mind, he's already saved his life from the beginning, and like he's been there for him, and he's always like had Cedric's back. Where Connor, I mean, he still respects Connor as a mage now, but I think before Hugh was still technically tranquil, or he thought he was still tranquil, so he wasn't really worried about possession, any of that. Yeah. And he knew that he wouldn't really be a frontline fighter.
Yeah.
Where Connor had like the shield and everything, and he was like, all right, you need to have more discipline if you're going to be up in the front line. So it's like, all right, training, and like I got to talk to you like warriors would talk to each other.
Cedric feels that if he tells Hugh to do something, Hugh will do it without much questioning at all. Yeah. Whereas Connor, he does kind of argue a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
And Hugh just... I do see that. I see the relationship between Cedric and Hugh is different, and then I think Hugh and Cedric sort of have it's a different type of trust, because Connor does trust Cedric. Hugh and I think the thing with Hugh and Cedric is they sort of have more of a mutual understanding of each other, like a mutual trust, and they kind of get where the other person is coming from.
Yeah.
Whereas Connor has more of a younger brother thing going on. Mm-hmm. And I feel like you and Hugh are more like, almost as if you were like twins, like if you were born twins, like it's that kind of, like you're on equal footing kind of when you guys are in an argument, whereas I think you're more in lecture mode when you're with Connor.
I think
it seems like.
I think that fits.
Which is understandable.
Yeah.
So cool.
Well, Andrea was his other charge, and he talks to her totally different too.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Especially now.
Especially now.
Well, I mean, I don't think
always.
He doesn't see Andrea as a charge now, because he knows that he's already committed fraternization, or I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Sure.
So he's already, like, he'll still look after her, like,
right, but it's different,
like as protection, but he won't. He doesn't have like that authority over her right now, because like when it comes down, he will be biased towards her, unless if she's possessed.
Oh god!
It's not her. It's not her anymore. It's not her anymore. She needs to die.
Chop off that head.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
That's a mutual.
Bye-bye.
That exactly.
Yeah.
It's a mutual thing. Because in our line of business, it like I could still get possessed. And
I'll kill you.
I think we've had that conversation in character too, where we're like, "I'll kill you. You'll kill me, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Great.
We're good. We're set."
Yeah.
I think Cedric just takes his charges by like his experiences with them and how he views them.
I'm a little worried about Hugh anyway, because it's been so long. I feel like he needs some training in and of itself, just how to keep yourself safe again, because he hasn't had to control his emotions or himself or demons in a very long time.
I think that Hugh is very much still dependent on Cedric with that.
Sure.
I don't think that I think he's aware that his abilities are very powerful, and I don't think Hugh has any intention of leaving Cedric's side because of that. It's not just because he cares for Cedric. It's more. It is in addition to that, he trusts Cedric to keep him out of trouble.
Yeah. Which I think in the end he will start to. Cedric will understand that it's like, all right, you're no longer a tranquil. You need to start going through these things, like these mental protections again. But I mean, not right now, because he's worried about the damn hole in the sky.
Cedric will be like, Hugh, you can paint your own staircases whenever you want, so I expect you to use them. Paint those staircases.
I mean,
you don't
he's
have
not
an
a frontline
excuse.
fighter. He's not a front.
Yeah, he's not a frontline fighter, so that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But
He'll go a lot easier.
Just in case. Just in case.